Welcome to Technically Marv, and technically, the safest way to let the internet into your Homelab is to never open the door at all. If you've ever wanted to share something you host like a website, a family dashboard, or a request page for your Plex users, the old answer was to open a port on your router and hope some script kiddie doesn't find it and decide to turn it into their own personal crypto mine. Today, we're covering the tool that fixes this, Cloudflare Tunnels. Several of you have asked for a Cloudflare Tunnels video, and I am nothing if not a man of the people. This is episode 3 of Homelab 101, my beginner-friendly series where each episode breaks down one Homelab tool or concept. It's built for Homelab newbies and vets alike who want to learn something new. If you're new here, welcome, the water's warm. If you're enjoying the series so far and haven't subscribed yet, for some unknown reason, correct yourself or I'll sick those script kiddies on your network. Two things though before we get started. First, this is not going to be a step-by-step tutorial. YouTube has 100 of those already, and most of them are perfectly fine. But honestly, the Cloudflare documentation on setting them up is very good. Second, there's a pretty obvious prerequisite here. You're going to need a domain and it needs to be pointed at Cloudflare. If you don't own a domain and plan to get one and point it at Cloudflare, that works as well. If neither of those fit you, this video will likely be pretty useless to you. With all that being said, I've been running Cloudflare Tunnels in my own setup for over 5 years now. This video is about what it actually does, what it costs you, and just as important, when you shouldn't use it at all. Let's get into it. So, what's a Cloudflare tunnel and how does it work? The short answer is it's a way to publish things you host without opening a single inbound port on your network. Instead of exposing the public IP, you run a small piece of software called Cloudflare somewhere on your network. I run mine as a Docker container on my Unraid server, but you can run it anywhere it makes sense in your stack, like on Windows, macOS, Linux, or just as a standalone Docker container. When Cloudflare starts up, it dials out to Cloudflare's network and keeps that connection open. It's a strictly don't call us, we'll call you relationship. Because your server initiates the call and Cloudflare just holds the line, there's zero opportunity for the outside world to dial back into your network. So when someone visits your site, their request goes to Cloudflare first, where CDN caching, WAF, bot management, and DDoS protection are applied automatically. Cloudflare then hands it down the already open connection to your server. This means two things for your setup. 1. No open ports. Your router has 0 ports forwarded, there's nothing on your network listening for strangers, so there's nothing for a port scanner to find. 2. No public IPs. Your DNS records point at Cloudflare, not at your house, which means your home IP address never shows up in public DNS at all. From the outside, your Homelab basically doesn't exist, and that's the whole appeal of Cloudflare Tunnels. The attack surface is basically non-existent. Now let's talk about the cache, which is the part most other videos conveniently skip over. This is the real price of admission. For it all to work seamlessly, Cloudflare sits in the middle of every connection. When a visitor hits your site over HTTPS, that encrypted connection ends on Cloudflare's servers, not on yours. Cloudflare decrypts the traffic on their edge, does its scanning and caching, then re-encrypts it and sends it back down the tunnel to your lab. To be clear, this isn't a bug or a security flaw. It's how the product and any other reverse proxy works. It's what lets them cache your content and filter attacks before they ever reach you. But you need to be realistic about it. For a split second, your traffic exists in a form Cloudflare can read. If you're hosting a public website, who cares? That content was meant for the public anyway. But if you're hosting private dashboards, admin panels, or internal tools, you've just invited a massive tech company to stand directly between you and your own house. The question then becomes, is that a good trade? It depends entirely on what's in the traffic. To show you how I answer that question in the real world, let's pull back the curtain on my own setup. This is my actual tunnel setup. I've blurred out a couple of the domains because I'd rather not hand the internet a prepackaged target list, but the structure is what matters. There are several host names within my tunnel and they land in 3 different ways. Most of them point directly at Caddy. Caddy is the web server and reverse proxy I run as a container to serve my static sites and fund a few applications. The tunnel hands traffic to Caddy and Caddy figures out the rest. A couple of host names skip Caddy entirely and point straight to a specific container. And here's something I genuinely love. Because Cloudflare runs on the same Docker network as my other containers, I don't have to deal with IP addresses at all. The service field just takes the container's name. My request page for Plex is a container called SEER, so the service is literally SEER and the port number. No IPs to remember and nothing breaks when internal addresses change. I have exactly one host name pointing at a plain IP on my network. That's my Home Assistant box, simply because it's a VM and not a container. So, why are these exposed to the public internet at all? Family mostly. My Plex users request tins through the SEER page. They click a link, log in with their Plex account, and they're done. The alternative was trying to teach my friends and extended family to install something like Tailscale, and I chose peace instead. Home Assistant is public for a similar reason. The phone apps are happiest when you just hand them a clean URL. Notice the common denominator here. Everything running through my tunnel is either meant for the public or meant for people who are not me. That is not an accident, and it is the rule that decides the entire next segment. And that rule boils down to this. Cloudflare Tunnels are brilliant, but they're only one tool in your toolkit. Homelabbers get into trouble when they try to treat a tunnel like a Swiss Army knife. Job 1, private access to your own stuff. Your server's web UI, your download managers, your internal dashboards. That's not a tunnel job, that's a Tailscale job. Keep it on a private network where only your authorized devices can see it. I did a full video on setting that up, cards on the screen, and the link is below. And look, I'll be honest with you. While writing the script for this video, I actually went back through my own active hostname list and realized I was breaking my own rule. I had Sonar sitting on my tunnel behind its own login page. It worked fine, nothing bad ever happened, but I barely ever touched it when away from home. Leaving an internal tool exposed to the entire internet for something I use maybe twice a month, that is a bad trade. So I'm pulling it off the tunnel and moving it to Tailscale where it belongs. Do as I say, or do as I do eventually. Job 2, web stuff meant for other people. Public sites, request pages like SEER, or anything where the whole point is sending someone a normal link that they can just click on. That's a tunnel's home turf. Job 3, raw network traffic that doesn't live in a browser. Game servers are the perfect example here, and this one trips people up constantly. I host Minecraft and Power World servers so my kids can play with their cousins and friends. Neither of those goes through my tunnel because a free Cloudflare tunnel is built strictly for web traffic and a gaming client doesn't speak HTTP. To force raw TCP or UDP traffic through a secure tunnel or a mesh network like Tailscale, you'd have to make every single cousin or friend install configuration software on their own devices before they could even log in. For a pack of kids just trying to play games on a Friday night, that's not happening. So for network traffic like game servers, I actually do the exact thing this entire video is about avoiding. I forward the ports on my router. The trick is that I lock the security down hard at the application layer instead. My Minecraft server uses a strict username whitelist, and the Power World server is heavily password protected. It's old school port forwarding, but it's the right tool for this specific job. So the playbook is simple. Private stuff, Tailscale. Public web stuff, Cloudflare Tunnels. Raw network traffic, forward the port, and security application. 3 different jobs, 3 different tools. Stop trying to make one do it all. Use the right tool and save yourself the headache. Before you go build, we need to address the elephant in the room. The actual fine print almost nobody reads on camera. So let's look at it. Cloudflare's service terms have a section explicitly covering their CDN, which is the delivery network your tunnel traffic rides on. The short version is simple. The CDN is meant for caching and serving web pages. If you use it to stream video or push a massive volume of large files without paying for their dedicated media services, Cloudflare reserves the right to limit or completely disable your access. The key phrase there is reserves the right. It's not a guaranteed automatic ban, but it's definitely not a promise to look the other way either. It is entirely their call. What makes this even murkier is there's a real debate on whether tunnel traffic even counts against their CDN rules. Cloudflare has never come out and given a definitive answer one way or the other. Their own forums are filled with people arguing both sides. I certainly won't sit here and try to settle a legal debate their own terms leave ambiguous. Instead, I play it smart and keep things simple. My tunnel handles web traffic and lightweight applications. For that, the free tier is more than the average Homelabber will ever need. But I never stream Plex or heavy media through it. Not because I've ever been flagged, but because routing gigabytes of video through a free service that frowns at exactly that is a game of chicken I'm not interested in playing. My Plex setup rides on Tailscale or direct routing instead. It's cheap insurance with zero ambiguity. One final pro tip before we wrap things up. If you do decide to put a private dashboard or internal tool on a public tunnel, don't just rely on that application's basic logon screen. Cloudflare has a built-in feature called Cloudflare Access. It lets you drop a massive security gate like Google Authentication or a one-time PIN directly in front of a hostname before a user can even see your server's login page. But that's its own topic for its own day. That's Cloudflare Tunnels in a nutshell. Outbound only connections, 0 open ports, your home IP hidden from the public record, and completely free for what most of us actually need. Just go into it clear-eyed about the trade-offs. Cloudflare sits in the middle of your data, their terms have strong opinions about heavy media streams, and it's ultimately just one tool in your tool belt, not a magic bullet for everything. If you take just one thing from this video, let it be the Sorting rule. If it's meant for other people, Tunnel. If it's meant just for you, Tailscale. If it's raw network traffic, forward the port and lock down the application. We're going to keep breaking down tools and concepts just like this, so drop a comment below and let me know what you want to see covered in the next Homelab 101 video. If this cleared things up, hit that like button and maybe share it with that one friend who still has 12 random ports forwarded on their router. I'm Marv, this is Technically Marv, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.